are joined with a very special guest, former ESPN broadcaster and current Fox Sports and NBC Chicago broadcaster, Adam Amin. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Doing great, boys. How are you doing?
We have a special guest in the house. We've got the man in charge, University of Louisiana Director of Athletics, Dr. Brian Maggard. Dr. Maggard, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
And we are now joined by the managing editor of D1 Baseball, Mr. Kendall Rogers.
Introducing Mr. Nick Domingue to the Rage and Review podcast. A lot of you guys may know him as the person who invented the phrase, and the answer is not Ron Guidry.
Man, I tell you what, but these candied yams with like the marshmallows in it is about the most unappealing looking gelatinous shaws that I've ever seen.
I actually kind of like I really like good cinnamon marshmallow yams.
You like the can? Are you 60? No, really?
We've got Lane Johnson here. Lane's going to be part of the Rage and Review crew. He's going to do a lot of background work for us. He's going to help us with our production. Lane, welcome aboard, buddy. How you doing?
Get ready. Buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of things on the pipeline, and can't wait to share it and have a good time with you guys on it.
Yeah, prepare yourselves. It's gonna
get
be
ready.
A lot of fun.
I'm just letting every Cajun Nation know and all our listeners know. Get ready.
The Ragin' Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Ragin' Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Ready? Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? That's up.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Rage and Review on a big night for Saints fans. Well, NFL fans in general. We're not going to keep it limited to Saints people, even though, they're the favorite team of South Louisiana for the most part, unless you're somebody like Ryan's friend, Caden. Lane in, along with our special guest, RC. What's up, boys? RC, we'll start with you. How was your Easter, man?
Easter was good, man. We spent a couple of days on the beach over in Destin and got back to the house Sunday evening. Mom had a good old roast and rice and gravy cooked, so came home to some good eating and got to spend some family time. So yeah, it was good.
Not too bad, man. Lane, we got to hang out during the Easter break. You had some of my dusted crawfish. Hey, how good was that dusted crawfish, Lane? Lane. Earth to Lane.
Yep. The thing froze for a second.
Lane, oh geez. All right, Lane, let's start this over. Lane, got to hang out with you over Easter break on Good Friday. What'd you think about those dusted crawfish, Lane?
Yeah. Yeah, they were really good.
You can't hear, you can't see.
Nothing wrong with dusted crawfish.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that was not, come on, man. I'm going to start treating you like Jerry if you don't treat me better. Let's get to it. Like I said, Saints have a big night tonight. We're going to keep an eye on the NFL draft. I think they're at the 4th pick at this point, and no surprises yet. Going to be interested to see who the Saints draft. But before we get to all that, we do want to talk about how the Cajuns did in baseball over this past week. We didn't have much of a show last week just because we're all over the earth. We had people traveling. We had things going on, and we needed an Easter break as well, so we did that. But while that happened, we ended up winning a series against ODU, 2 games to 1, which was great to see. That got off to a weird start on the Friday night game where we ended up beating them, outlasting them 6-5 in 10 innings. Then we dropped the game on a walk-off, on Friday night, because it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Ended up dropping that game 6-5, and then whooping up on them on Saturday, which was fun to watch. 10-0 in 8 innings. Got to go home a little bit early. I'm sure that was a better drive than the one down from Monroe, as I heard that was pretty interesting. Boys, I'll start with you, Lane. We were able to catch the game on Friday where we ended up losing 6-5, and you just felt like that game was out of hand to begin with. And it wasn't that Old Dominion was playing well. It's just like we could not get anything going. It seems like we took 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Just wasn't our day at the ballpark. Your thoughts on the weekend series? Happy, obviously, to get the series win, but it was just kind of weird those first 2 games.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a win on the night Chase Morgan pitched, obviously, because he's our best pitcher.
Deserves it,
but
yeah.
He deserves all the wins. But yeah, those first 2 games were really weird. I mean, I didn't expect to go into extras on Thursday, and then like you said, Friday we couldn't get anything strung together multiple times in a row. But I do feel like the Saturday game, or the final game of the series, that was the best offensive performance we've had in a month or 2. And I mean, I guess Deggs finally decided that was his best lineup that he was going to put out there, and they went after it.
It's Jekyll and Hyde, man, because we go down, we go up 2-1 in the third on Thursday, and then they come back and score 4 runs to go up 5-2. So at that point, we're thinking we're done, man, because we just mailed it in. We got a couple of key hits in the 6th to score another run, and then in the 9th you get the 2 runs followed by a run in the 10th. So that was good to see. But just the Friday game was it was weird. I mean, we go down 4-0, we fight back, they walk us off. Feel like you lost a game you probably should have won by the way that they played. Brian, I know your thoughts on this year's baseball season, so I'm not going to grill you too much on this, but it was, going into Saturday, 10-0. You really can't say much about that. It was just an ass whooping. But that Thursday and Friday game, man, it's like the epitome of our season. You don't know who's going to show up inning to inning. You don't know if we're going to play good defense or bad defense. You don't know if we're going to hit or not. Our pitching has actually started to be kind of consistent. So you got to give that to the guys. But as far as our defense, our base running drives me absolutely nuts, and our lineup changes. Your thoughts on how the weekend went overall?
Well, I mean, it's always good to get a series win. And I wasn't able to watch any of the games. I was able to kind of keep up before dinner on Thursday night. The thing with this team is it's imperative that we get a win on Friday nights with Chase on the mound, or Thursday nights in this case. With the emergence of JR on Sundays, I don't think that really, that there's a lot of teams that could put a Sunday pitcher out there, because he like him, because he's been holding it down for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. So I think as long as we get the win on Friday with Chase, I think we always have a good chance of taking the series with a Sunday, regardless what happens on Saturday. I really wasn't able to keep up on Saturday. I know we got down big, kind of was keeping up, a little bit on the phone. So we came back just to get walked off. I know that was frustrating, but yeah, like you said, it's kind of the epitome of our season. But I'm glad we got the win.
Yeah, me too. Obviously, Chase did not look comfortable on Thursday. I was going back and forth with his mom. She's actually the one who messaged me and said, "Hey, he's not looking great on the mound. I don't know what's going on."
Well, I think that was two weekends in a row where he hadn't really had his best stuff.
Exactly. But he just looked uncomfortable on the mound. Yeah. If you didn't see it, but he just looked, his delivery, his whole presence on the mound just looked off a little bit, and his mom even said that.
And I think once he once he couldn't get the zone, like the strike zone, he kind of like felt a little bit off, and I think that's what played into it mostly. I mean, once the umpire wasn't calling strikes, he had to throw it in other places and hope that he called it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's annoying that we're at that point in the season where you don't know if it got where the strike zone is. You feel like you move past that, and I guess that is not the case. But regardless, like you said, you always want to get Chase a win because he's always going to give you the opportunity to get that win, and we did that. He didn't get the win, but we got the win, so that was good to see. And then obviously JR on Saturday. I mean, again, our pitching is coming around. That's something we struggled with, and we saw it again in the midweek game against Nichols. We ended up winning that game 6-2. Really impressed by, I mean, who was the cat that came in to pitch for us? That was Ardway came in to pitch.
Yeah, Sam Ardway.
Yeah.
He pitched
Like,
better.
What is that? But he came in to pitch. He showed you he had a little bit of stuff, so that was kind of cool to see. But I liked the lineup for the most part. Midweek, Nichols, we booted it a couple times. I think Nichols did as well, but we took advantage of those opportunities that we had. And look, Nichols is 15-26 on the season. They're not a great team, but the fact that we went out there, we got the job done against a team that we should beat. Tate Hess, I thought looked good. Marcotte looked good as well. Dylan Toit, he was on as well. It makes me feel good about
that decision a little bit
about putting Toit in.
Yeah, I mean, against a team like that, when you have 3 more games this weekend, I mean, I get it. He's one of your more reliable bullpen arms, but I figured he would have saved him for Friday or Saturday.
Well, for 4 innings is
that was the thing that I was kind of questioning as well. We're supposed to have 5 games this week, so the Markout was supposed to start last night, and dang it, who started last night?
Tate Hess.
He was supposed to start on Tuesday night, and I think I don't know what they do as far as like how many pitches they want to throw in bullpen days, but to me, if you go from a 5-game week to a 4-game week and you only use 3 pitchers on damn it, they took Mason Graham. I guess that's out for the Saints.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. So if you use 3 pitchers and then you got your weekend coming up, that's good. But Dylan Toit threw a lot of pitches last night. That was the only thing that I was really questioning. So is he good to come back on maybe Sunday? I don't know. But how many pitches did he throw? I know you said
he threw 59 pitches on last night.
It's not terrible. It's really not terrible, but so maybe he.
And I didn't feel like he had a lot of stress pitches. I mean, there were some situations where he had to bring it. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I would say at the earliest, I couldn't imagine them trying to come out Friday night with him. But again,
I'll tell you,
there's a lot of stuff they do, and we don't understand. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so Tate Hess in the first inning threw, I think the first 3 batters all fastballs.
Yep.
First strike pitches, and his breaking ball was unbelievable last night. So I think if he could do the same thing on the weekends, we're talking about putting all the pitching together. I think we'll be set up fairly well, or a whole lot better than what we thought our pitching depth was going to be. Just 3 or 4 weeks ago.
And I have to give props to one of the Nichols pitchers who has one of the best names that I've seen in a while. Cohen Van Klooster, I think is how you say it. It's almost as good as we had this one guy that played for Northwestern back in the day, Joe Ertuswastegi. And his name couldn't fit on the scoreboard. So it was like a huge Joe and then a small Ertuswastegi behind him. But yeah, that's crazy. Boys, look, I don't want to ruin anything in case there's a trade to come up, because the Saints could trade picks to I don't know. They're crazy. We know it. It's Mickey Loomis is in charge. Who do you guys think the Saints are picking before we continue with baseball? Lane, I'll start with you. Who's the Saints pick tonight?
If they draft at 9, I feel like they got to go with Dart. I mean, I would rather him over Sanders for sure if they're going to draft a quarterback that early.
RC's going to quit the Saints if they draft Sanders. RC, what's your thoughts tonight?
Well, I don't know. It's you never really know with Mickey. I think that the guy from Georgia, Mikel, he'll
Mm-hmm.
probably, if we could get him and get Dart, in the second round, or like maybe trade back into the end of the first round and get Dart. That's one thing, but I don't know if taking Dart at 9 is good. Um, so that probably means that's what we'll do.
Yeah, we're gonna do what nobody wants us to do, which is draft Sanders. Do you think all the stuff with his dad retiring his jersey in his first
That
year
was the
or second
that was
year?
the dumbest thing ever.
But don't you think that affects his draft stock? I mean, because people look at that,
Well, not
they
only
look at
that,
kind
but
of
he
stuff.
didn't. Not only that, he just didn't play well this last season. I mean,
Didn't he have a
I don't-
losing record overall with
Yeah.
Colorado? I think he did.
No, he didn't. He was one game over 500. The only thing that you can give him credit for is that he got the absolute shit kicked out of him every single game because for 2 years because their offensive line was trash, and you can't take that away from him. He really does make some really good throws. I just think eventually, if he has the right pieces in place, he probably will be a very good NFL quarterback. But the whole thing that the talking heads, I think we had said something in the group chat today. The only thing that they talked about today on ESPN was him, and that was it. So
That's crazy.
that comes along with having your dad as Deion Sanders. So
Ashton
I
Genty
think
going to the Raiders, by the way.
yeah, and I heard that. Well, I read that the Bears were trying to trade up for him, but good on them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would fall to 9, but I wouldn't want us to trade up for him. I mean, in my opinion, I think
the other player
for
I think
Genty.
we could get at 9 is the receiver from Arizona. I feel like he's got good numbers.
All right. Well, we're already at pick 7, man. Kind of hard to believe that we're already there, but before we get there, we'll keep an eye on things. And guys, if something happens, just cut me off so we can talk about it. But we do have a series coming up against Georgia Southern this weekend, which essentially will be for standings between the two teams. I think whoever wins the series will move up in the standings, and whoever loses the series moves down. So it's obviously one that we want to get. But Georgia Southern is always tough. Rodney Hennon is a damn good coach. They always seem to be in the hunt come tournament time. And I'm talking Sunbelt Conference tournament time. They always turn it on there and are really tough opponents, especially during the season. So interesting to see what Georgia Southern brings this weekend. Lane, we were talking about the consistency of the Cajuns, and I continue to say we have talent on the team. We question some of the decisions that are made as far as lineups go and position players and where the chess pieces are. Do you think we're finally kind of turning the corner where we're figuring it out? Or I don't want to think that this is fool's gold that we won, 3 out of 4 games in the past week, but at the same time, you kind of are seeing some things coming together. I don't know. Is this the late season Degs push for postseason? Where are your thoughts of where we are right now?
I feel like it's partially that, but it's also the last series we played wasn't against a great team. So I feel like that also comes into play. But at the same time, they also beat us on Friday. So I feel, but on Sunday and I guess yesterday, he used pretty much the same lineups, and we won both those games. So I feel like he finally figured the lineup part of it out, but still trying to adjust with the different positions everybody's playing and trying to get the right formula, I guess. But it's good to see the pitching, like you said, has been consistent for us to be able to get those wins.
Trying to pull up Georgia Southern's baseball stats just to give you guys an idea of what they're working with this weekend. As a club, they hit 281. Top hitter is Sean Smith at 404. He's slugging 691 and has 9 homers on the year. Josh Tate has 10 homers on the year, slugs 653, and is batting for 365. And then Daniel Hab, I assuming is how you say it, is batting 331, slugging 561, and has 6 homers on the year. As a team, they have 48 homers. So they Georgia, their ballpark is different. I will say that it's definitely not the Teague. It's easy to get it out there at Georgia Southern. But just something that we have to be aware that they certainly can swing the bats. And then an ERA at 5.98. Their top guy is Brady Penley. He has 2.34 ERA. He's 3-0 on the season. And then coming in at number 2 is Cade Grundy, 4.22 ERA and he's 5-4 on the season. Batters hit around 250 against their pitching staff. So ERA is about 6. We said that against Old Dominion, and they stuck it up our butts on Friday. So you can't really, you got to get to their bullpen. It's the same thing that we say week after week, especially against a team like when we played ULM. We had the opportunity to get in their bullpen, and we let a freshman, stick it up our butts on Sunday. So we can't allow that to happen over the weekend. Boys, I don't have a whole lot on these guys. I know they play fundamentally well. They're 23-18 on the season, 9-9 in conference play. Any thoughts on the upcoming series at Georgia Southern? It's another one that you almost feel like we just can't beat ourselves. Got to play our game. Can't be stupid on defense. Cut down on the base running errors, man. That still drives me nuts. But it's a series that's at home you expect to win. Lane, I'll start with you. Any thoughts about Georgia Southern coming up this week?
Yeah, their conference slate has been weird. They've swept like App State, but also lost a series to South Alabama and Old Dominion, who we just beat. So that they've played a little inconsistently as of late.
They beat Campbell 2 out of 3. Now Campbell's not outstanding.
They swept Arkansas State. No, they took 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State. Yeah. So I mean, they're beating the teams that they should beat, and then they're also losing the teams that they probably should beat too, which is the same in our case. But
sometimes
trying to limit the base running errors, because it happened, I think, on Wednesday night too. We were running out of innings and we could have scored another run or two, but it's a needed series win that we'll have to get this weekend if we want to move up in the standings and clinch at least the 6th seed, which is the cutoff for the play-in games. So we want to avoid that. But I feel like getting off to a good start with SEMO on the mound on Friday is paramount.
All right, RC, I'll let you get final thoughts for our baseball weekend, and then we'll turn it over to your favorite basketball, unless something happens on the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, like Lane said, Friday with SEMO on the mound, we got him in our home park, so obviously the field plays a little bit different. They got that funky, I think it's the right field wall where it's got like that little mini green monster. It's pushed in a little bit. So I don't know how many of those home runs go that way, but I remember them walking us off in that conference tournament a few years ago going that way.
That pissed me off so bad, man.
And still, I think about that. I think about it all the time. I think it's, if we could get the one on Friday and we keep on talking about Friday and Sunday, but we got Herman on Saturday. If we could piece together this thing, 3 days in a row, I think there's a good chance that we could take the series. The thing is that I'm worried about this team is that we get excited because of whenever we take a weekend series, but look who we're beating on the weekends.
Exactly. Yeah. And look who we're losing to on the weekends.
Yeah,
like the ULM, right?
Yeah. So I think we won the South Alabama series, ODU series, and they're down at the bottom. We need to take one against somebody that's ahead of us in the standings. And if we could do that, then we could start talking about making a little run in the actual conference tournament. But until then, if we could stick with something consistent on the actual lineup, I think we'll be all right.
I agree, but that's a lot to ask for with the history of this coaching staff. Just looking at the baseball standings, Coastal is in sole possession of first place, a tie for second with Troy and Southern Miss, followed by App State, then Louisiana, Georgia State, and Georgia Southern. Again, this weekend will decide who stays. I mean, if we win the series, we stay ahead of them. If not, then we drop below Georgia Southern. Then you've got Texas State and Arkansas State, ODU, all at 8 and 10, which of course Texas State is always going to be the team to break through in every sport every season, and then they poo-poo the bed. South Alabama at 7 and 11, which is surprising, and then ULM, Marshall, James Madison, all at 6 and 12. So the bottom is really bottom. The top of the conference is really good. And then the middle of the conference is pretty good sometimes. Inconsistent, I think, across all of those programs. And I think all of those coaches would tell you the same thing. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks and how those weekends go. By the way, Armand how do you say that? Mimbu, Missouri is going to the Jets. I think somebody in the group chat was talking about him.
Did Carolina move up a pick? I thought they were drafting after us.
I think they did move up a pick. Let's see, Panthers.
They already have their pick in too.
Yeah, they're ahead of us. So we'll go ahead and pause here and just kind of wait for that pick to come in, because I don't want to interrupt the conversation about basketball, and that'll also give me time to pull up the names of the fellas that we have signed. Because boys, I'm not gonna lie, dude, I don't know a whole lot of basketball. I know you do, RC. Lane, hell, I don't know. You didn't give me credit for my crawfish, so I don't care. But I'm getting pumped up for the season. Coach Q is doing his thing, man. And if the talent, if his coaching matches the talent on the court, we're gonna be awful hard to beat in the Sun Belt, and hopefully we can start scheduling some better
no non D1 programs.
No non D1 programs. Yeah. By the way, did you guys see McNeese lost in baseball to a non NAIA team? Yeah, that's
Well, I would normally be the first one to shit all over McNeese, but
you can't right now.
After they beat us in basketball, they beat us twice in baseball. I'm not going to say anything bad about them right now, but hopefully we can turn that around in September whenever they come to the newly renovated Swamp.
But you can't lose to an NAIA team, bro. Why are you even playing?
Why are you even scheduling that? Yeah,
that's my question. And does that count?
The only thing I can think
it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Not RPI, nothing.
Is that somebody backed out or something, and they had to scramble to get a game in? I don't know.
That's still hard for me to believe. You can't get anybody outside of an NAIA team to play you, but whatever, man. Yeah, I lied. Let's go ahead and talk about Coach Q. It just so impressive on what he has brought already to the Cajuns and the excitement. When I first saw him in a couple of interviews, I was like, oh, this guy's quiet. Are we getting another kind of quiet coach, behind the scenes guy? That does not seem the case. It's kind of crazy how his recruiting pipeline translated so quickly to the Cajuns. I'm sure these were guys that he had there that would have been, I mean, if they could have doubled their roster size, would have probably all played at Houston, but that's certainly not the case. So it's crazy to see when you have a coach who has the recruiting pipeline, and also a little bit aggravating that we had to wait 15 years for that. And I think but you got to look past it. You can't say nasty things about the guy before, but man, imagine if we had this head start 9 years ago, how different that would have been. Yeah, Ryan, I know you're kind of close to the program, and I'm sure you've met Coach Q. If not, I'm sure you've heard in the grapevine. Tell us a little bit about what you know about him as a coach, because man, it's just been so impressive of what we've seen so far.
Well, I guess the first thing that I could say is to go off of what you were saying. You didn't know, like, you heard the way that he was speaking, kind of laid back. Uh, he's kind of like a silent assassin is probably the best way that I could explain him, because he doesn't really say a lot very loud, but when the things that he does say, it resonates with whoever's listening. So you take the press conference. One of the first things that he talked about was hanging banners and going to the Final Four. You know that's the kind of the same thing that HUD said whenever he came, but it's a completely different personality, right? HUD is big, rah rah. He's we need to get this and that, and he's being the cheerleader type, and that kind
Hold the
of
rope.
yeah, that it's he's basically saying the same thing, just in a different manner. So I wasn't sure, how to take him at first because of how low key he was, but
Right.
if you listen to his interviews and you hear the words that he actually says, and of course, I have a little bit of background as well, kind of insight, but everything that he says is heard. So if he says that we're going to be a rebounding team and we're going to play defense for 40 minutes, if we're not going to make shots and we're going to have to play defense and make rebounds to win the game, I think you could probably take it to the bank. That's what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen every night, but he just has a different way of going about things. But his words have impact, and everybody that he's recruited, that's been here, that he's talked to, all say the same thing. So um,
I
I
think
think,
Hosanna's gone, but man, I really want Q to keep him here. If you could find a way. But
well,
yeah, no.
that
Everything I've heard was that he's just a super guy.
yeah, and I wanted Hosanna to stay too, but it's a numbers game now. I don't know what they're gonna do. I know they have a 15 person roster cap now. You could use all 15 spots for scholarships. I don't know if that's what we're gonna do. It could be, but do money's also an issue. Do they want to spend the extra two or three spots for actual scholarships? I have no idea, but he has his people that he wants in place, the coaching staff and the players, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how everything plays out for sure. I just think we could get excited, and that's the thing. Like, everybody's excited, we're all excited. The thing now is, can everything be put together, and can everything gel in order to make something special? And I think eventually it can be. Whether or not it's going to be this year, we don't know. I hope it is, but the thing that he says is, I want the Cajun Dome sold out, not just one time. I want it sold out every single night. I love that. I love the Final Four talk. Like, it gets people excited, even if he's saying it in a low key manner. It gets people excited, and that's what I like.
I agree, man. It's like when Deg said the gates of Omaha, and he said, or should I say, Coach Alley said, want to get back to Oklahoma City. Like, don't be scared to say those things, because if you don't say them, you're not going to make them reality. So I appreciate that, and like you said, it might take a little while, for him to get things going his way. But I think, look, there's a buzz around Cajuns basketball that hasn't been there in quite a while, and I want us to just have a rival in the conference, kind of like a Western Kentucky that we used to have, and Georgia State for a while kind of was on the cusp of being that. I want to have that rival because I want to be good enough to be somebody's hated rival, and maybe if Southern Miss could get it together, that might happen, but I don't know.
One thing that he did say that kind of resonated with me was, engagement with the community, and also engagement with the students. And he even talked about moving the student section to a
Oh
different
yeah,
spot.
let's do it, baby.
So if that happens, I'd gladly go sit with the students, because I think
that's the best place to sit, dude.
Yes, absolutely. If you could get the Saints pick is in. Let's
Yeah,
go
Saints
right
pick is
there.
in. I'm getting nervous now. I think, but they're going to drag this out, for a while. So, but yeah,
Well,
I agree with you.
Took the guy that the Saints were going to pick.
Yeah.
Which is
you think Arizona took him?
No, I'm saying Carolina took him.
Oh yeah. Were they going to pick a wide receiver? I don't know. I know you wanted him.
Yeah. I mean, we need help all that we can get.
Why
in
every position.
We need help everywhere
right now. Yeah.
We need help everywhere.
Yeah, we need help at the quarterback position because that guy's a bad word you can't repeat on air. Let's see where we are with this.
Yeah, really nasty there. All right, I had speculated, and like who am I, right? Speculate that, hey, maybe Carolina would try to move out, and maybe we'd be having a quarterback.
Smart guy.
That clearly didn't happen. They had an offensive weapon.
All right, now you just get to the damn pick, guys. Let's go. I'm watching a stream on NFL's website, so I'm scared if I share too much, they will ban us from Twitter, from every social media platform ever. So we're not going to do that. But I will put some audio when they do come to the stage in just a little bit. Look at Mickey Loomis, guys. Oh, what a great
Jalen Walker's now on the board now.
GM.
So you have some defensive ends that you could take a look at, and Jalen Walker's kind of in that Zach Bond mode.
How are you going to compare somebody like Dennis Allen to like the greatest football coaches in the history of the NFL?
Offensive minded coach, normally you kind of lean to your baby, want to get it right.
I'm kind of. You think it's going to be the Georgia guy?
You just want.
I don't know, man. I literally have no idea where they're going with this.
If it's Sanders, I give up.
It might be a kicker.
Number 9. Here's the answer.
Kenny Almendares.
Kenny the kicker. Hey, that's the only kicker I'd be okay with. All right, here's the jerk with his stupid bike at the beginning of this thing.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle, Texas.
First team all SEC. This is a dude who's had 42 career starts, all at left tackle.
Okay.
Yeah, and I tell you what my favorite game of his was his freshman season when he went up against Will Anderson and shut Will Anderson down. And I was at that game in Austin, and it was really, really impressive. Now,
I don't like first round picks that aren't at the draft because that tells me they didn't expect to be taken in the first 2 rounds. And that's a little bit concerning to me.
Well,
but hey, it's the Saints.
Well, Sanders isn't there either.
Okay, so this is now 15 of the last 17 years that we've had either an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman drafted in the first round.
Wow. That's wild.
That's crazy. Trey Amos coming up at number 42, best available in the top 300. So that's interesting. Jack Besh is on there as well. Interesting, man.
Speaking of NFL draft, who do you think for the Cajuns is the best chance of getting drafted?
Kenny. If I'm being honest, I mean, he's the best kicker in the country last year. At best chance. Now, I'm not going to say he's going the highest because he is he's a kicker, but I think the best chance will be Kenny. I think he's definitely had more reach outs from other teams in the country. So I think Kenny's going to be. Who do you think?
I would agree. I mean, you don't want to draft a kicker early, but also going to get the best kicker in the country kind of speaks for itself.
What about Keon Martin?
I think he has a good. I'm not going to say he has the best chance, but I think he has a damn good chance.
Yeah,
like I said, he would probably go before Kenny, but
he had some pretty good numbers in the combine, or the pro day. He didn't go to the combine, but I think that. I mean, do kickers? I don't really pay attention to the later rounds like that. Do kickers really get drafted like that?
I think in the
later rounds they do.
Yeah, in the very later rounds, it's almost like it's like fantasy, man. You wait till the very end, and then all of a sudden it's kicker. Not necessarily that many kickers, but I think like in the 7th round, because they have 7 rounds now, right?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, I think you're looking 6 to 7, low 6, somewhere in the.
And now we gotta see if the Saints are gonna draft or
trade picks and try to come back up. Yeah. Well, I ain't waiting for that. I'll tell you that much.
I did want to get your opinion, RC, on what you think Coach Q's scheduling philosophy might be. Because I mean, the past several years we've had crap as far as a schedule.
I think that if you listen, like I said, to the words that he says, I think he means what he says, and he's trying to put a product out there that will not only compete with high majors, quote unquote, but compete with them on you know more than just one occasion. So I think he wants to prepare his team for a postseason run, and if that means that we got to play three, South Carolina, uh, you know, Louisville, whatever, three of them on the road, I think he's willing to do that. At the same time, you still gotta figure in we have contracts with Louisiana Tech, McNeese. We have to go back this year and play them over there. Learfield, I think it's like maybe 14 home games that we have to have every single year. So I'm not saying that he won't have a D2 school on there. I think he might have to this year, whenever he's building his schedule for the years to come. I think I think overall it's going to be a lot better as far as the name programs going on the road. Now, whether or not that means a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1, whatever we could do to get fans back over here to see these teams play, I really don't know. But I think that I think he's the type of coach and the type of person that wants to challenge everybody in every single way. So he's going to get the biggest and the best for us to play in order to prepare us for the Sun Belt Conference tournament, NCAA tournament, moving on however far we want to go. So I think you'll see that the philosophy is a little bit different. Baseball, I think what is bad does the schedule, right?
Yep.
Yep. So
and Tim, they kind of both work on it.
Right. So, and I know in football it's Maggard. I know basketball it's a little bit different where they kind of tag team a little bit. So I think it might be it'll have to be a little bit kind of give and take with Maggard and Q, and we'll see what they could do with that. But I think it'll be a little bit different as far as the home schedule. I have no idea if we'll see pretty fast how good his connections are as far as the coaching goes. But if you're sitting there pulling 4 stars and 5 3-stars in your first class, there might not be a lot of people that want to come play you at the Cajun Dome. Maybe we get picked for some kind of tournaments, some exempt tournaments
that would be cool.
we. Yeah, I don't know. It remains to be seen, but I'm excited to see what he can do.
And I've always thought we should do like a Louisiana team tournament, I guess, style thing, but I don't know if there's interest in the other programs wanting to do that or how that would actually work and where they would play it and all that.
The last time that they did that was, I think that was back in like 2005 or 6. LSU had Glenn Davis. He was a freshman. And we had, I think Orion Green was here. I think that was around that time when that team was here.
Yep.
We played Louisiana Tech at the PMAC. They played Tulane, and then we won. They won. Then we played them in the second game, and it was great. Like that, you have crowds from, between just Tulane, us, and LSU. We're each hour away, and then Tech is, whatever, 4 hours away from Baton Rouge. So it was like a little mini conference tournament where you had the fans that kind of spread out and then sectored off during the game. So it was a good environment. I thought that was really cool. Now, the thing is, who's the main player in this whole thing in the state? It's LSU. If LSU says no, it's not going to happen. I guarantee you everybody else wants to do it, but if they don't want to do it, then it's not going to happen.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, Jay Johnson wants to do a Louisiana tournament, so maybe we could get the McMahon guy from LSU to agree to it too. So, Rage and Review basketball tournament at the super. Let's do it at the Baby Dome. Let's do it at Smoothie King Center. That'd be fun. Might need some extra security that weekend. This weekend, upcoming for the Cajun softball team, they will travel over to Texas State to face a pretty good Texas State squad, 30-16 on the season, 12-6 in conference. That's coming off of a run rule loss to the Texas A&M Aggies on Tuesday by a score of 11-2. So, ladies are not great on the road, 4-14 on the season. Hopefully they can turn it around and do some things this weekend. Just a reminder, we are live and we do welcome your calls. Let me get that little scrolling thing. 866-454-RAGE, 7243 if you're a Texas State fan, because they can't figure out the RAGE, but it's 866-454-7243. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about the Saints. Let us know what you think about baseball. Really, anything is on the agenda tonight, including the draft and what you think about it. Not a sexy pick. Not I think we would have all quit our Saints fandom had they picked Sanders at that point. But we don't have to worry about it. So let's see where he does go. Has he been picked yet? Actually, let me go back and look at that. No, I thought we might get a tight end in the first round. But look, I don't know. We'll see what the Saints do the rest of the draft. Go ahead, Lane.
I think if we do get a tight end, I think a good, decent option would be the tight end from, I believe, Bowling Green. He's put up some good numbers the last couple seasons. And
dude, he was awesome this past year. He reminded me of a bigger version of the guy Terrence, whatever, that went to Houston. He was really good. Then he did really good against Penn State. So him and the Penn State tight end were kind of going back and forth in that game. That Bowling Green should have won. So yes, I definitely agree with that.
And only one quarterback has gone in the first 10 picks, which is interesting. I still thought we would see somebody trading up for a quarterback, and
that should tell you something right there. So somebody had said that Mason Rudolph would have been the third best pick in this year's draft as a quarterback. Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting. Okay, well, we'll see how that transpires as the night goes on. Let's turn our attention to Cajuns golf. Want to mention that they missed the cut in the playoff round, I guess you call it, of the Sun Belt Conference tournament. They were, I believe, 2 under par for the week and did not make the cut. But overall, a solid performance by the Cajuns golf team. Eli Artigo is still a hoss, and hopefully he gets to make it into the individual regional rounds for the Cajuns. But a lot of talent for the golf team. And it's been a couple of years since they made it as a team to the regionals. I know Coach and the rest of the team wants to get back there, but a good showing all in all in the Sun Belt tournament this week. Boys, I typically have a lanyap this week, and I'm kind of struggling for one right now. So I'm just going to turn it over to you guys and, come up with something silly. What is on your mind? What can we talk about? Because I ain't got lanyap today. Nick has had a long day and just hopped on here at the very last minute, so no preparations. So in the 10 seconds that I had to explain, I have no lanyap. Actually, no. You know what? I think we're being rescued right now by somebody. Let me go ahead and see if we can get this caller on the air. Give me 1 second. Might need to get that caller to call back because my shallows ain't working. Ryan, is that your guy? All right, have him call back. In the meantime, Lane, anything lanyap you want to talk before we close it out later tonight?
I wasn't
Except
prepared.
for my crawfish, because obviously
well, no,
like
my computer froze when you were talking about it, but it was good.
I think you're full of crap if we're being honest with you, but whatever.
That's throwing it back to a couple episodes ago when you were asking about favorite festivals. When you were in town, what was your favorite thing to do during festival?
During festival? Drink.
Yeah.
Try not to get arrested peeing in public, those types of things. All right, we do have our caller who called in. Oh Lord, I got all kind of stuff happening. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Hey, what's up, man? You're on Rage and Review. What's going on?
Rage and Review, my boys down there in Lafayette. Golly, Is anybody else in the chat? Can somebody say amen?
Is this who we think it is? Is this who we think it is? Is this Roast Beef Ron calling in right now?
Turn the organ on, boys. You're about to be blessed.
All right, the floor is yours, Roast Beef Ron. Go right ahead.
Let me tell you what the Saints did today with this first-round pick. They sent out a notice to the NFL that there's a new era that has just begun. We're building around a man named Kellen Moore, who's going to be around for decades. In his first pick, he decided to go with none other than a man that we can trust in. I don't think it's too soon to say it right now. The man will be a Hall of Famer. I can tell. Kelvin Banks. Look at his family around him. When a man sheds tears on national TV, it tells me what this game means to him. The Saints are back. That nation is back. Hope springs eternal. It's no coincidence that the draft happened right after Easter this Sunday, because our Saints are back. We were dead for a couple of years, but on the third day we rose again, and today it's the third day. Can somebody say amen?
Amen. Hey,
amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah, the Pope just passed away. You got to add that to it too.
Yes, my sincere condolences to the Pope. He was a good man, seemed like he did a great job and served people, and my sincere condolences to the Pope.
And the Saints
and
fan.
His family.
And the Saints
and
fan.
his family.
Yeah.
And in terms of the Saints, look, guys, the future has never been brighter. Okay? The future has never been brighter. And let me tell you what else is bright right now. The University of Louisiana football team.
There you go.
Okay?
There you go.
No,
There we go.
Let me tell you something, brother. I actually stumbled across down there. I was just driving through, and let me tell you, that campus is pristine. The football stadium, the build-out, when the second half is done, oh my goodness. You take a walk down that tunnel, you better be ready for a fist fight. That place is humid. Let me tell you, I really believe this. The sky is the ceiling for this program.
I love the way you think. Amen to that. RC, what you got, man?
Man, brother, if I could say one thing about your passion and your devotion and
Give
your
it to me, brother RC. Give it to me.
Your dedication to Louisiana sports. Louisiana sports would be like an 80-year-old man that hasn't had sex since he was 35, and you are the Viagra that brings this man up. You just do it for us, baby.
Wow.
Amen, brother.
That is some testimony there, RC. I'll tell you what, that's good stuff.
I will say this. May I share one more thing?
Go right ahead.
Brother RC is a bit prophetic, because old Roast Beef Ron discovered the gift of testosterone here in the last 2 weeks. And let me tell you something. I feel like I'm 18 again, brother.
God bless Miss Roast Beef Ron. God bless.
Amen.
Her. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, sir. As always, it is a pleasure. God bless you, and God bless the Saints, baby.
Amen. Love Louisiana. Let's go.
All
Roast
right.
Beef Ron. Out.
Gotta love it, man. Oh, man. That's always fun to hear from Roast Beef Ron. It's been a while.
Hey, the only thing I can say to that is holy shit.
My mom is watching right now going, what the hell is going on? I thought we were talking about the Cajuns. Oh, man.
How much longer are we going to be on, Nick? Because I
you want to get more people to call? Dude,
Uh,
we got all night. I'm going nowhere. It is 8:26. We are good, brother.
Let me see what kind of do a little bit of filler work. Let's see what we can do.
All right. So in the meantime, Lane, since you can't come up with any ideas of it's not hard, Raging Cages will have more wins than the Saints. Damn, Jimmy Daigle is just hating on the Saints tonight. Jimmy, what did they do to you, brother? You sound like my dad. My dad calls them the Aints again. And that used to drive me nuts, but it can't drive me nuts now because we ain't very good. Oh, all right. I can't wait to see what you're driving up there, RC. You know, you always got something in your back pocket. Lane, what are you doing?
Yep.
What was your favorite memory growing up as a Cajuns fan?
I thought you were just gonna say your favorite memory ever. Where is he going with this? Favorite memory ever as a Cajuns fan? Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first, RC, because I got a good one.
Oh Lord.
I'll go first. Want me to go first?
Yeah. Go first because
This is more like does it count if I was like involved still? Because I was involved with the program for years, right? So I think
it could be whether you were before or after.
Hearing my voice on ESPN, dude, was the craziest moment because we were number one in the country. We were hosting a super regional. You know, I think it had rained a little bit before. And we're sitting there we actually had ESPN monitors in the press box that had, mold growing behind me. And there was a delay. So I'd announce a batter and I'd turn it off and I'd turn the volume up and I'd hear myself. And I was like, that's freaking cool. And I don't want to make it about me because it was about the whole thing. Like the atmosphere, the feeling, the vibe, the electricity, the old tee, everybody was every single pitch just was electric. But definitely, to make it about me, hearing my voice on ESPN was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. I will say that. All right, RC, that gave you time to think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think as far as football goes, this may sound a little bit weird, but whenever we were playing Tulane in the Superdome, I think it might have been Jake's last year, so either 96-ish or whatever. And he threw the touchdown at the end to Brandon Stokely. It wasn't like a program defining moment. I remember just being, a kid, I was like, 13, 14 or whatever. Didn't think that we had a chance at the end. We ended up that ball just kind of was like went in slow mo. It was like a movie for him to catch that last touchdown. And not to get into like a somber topic, but Mr. Sonny Roy, which was, kind of a well-known name around Louisiana. He actually had a heart attack during that game, and he passed away either that night or the day after. And that just something that always stuck with me. It was sad, but at the same time, it was almost like he wanted that. He would have loved that to happen. So that as far as football, that's probably my favorite. Favorite memory as far as like that's kind of random. Of course, like the Texas A&M game, that's always going to stick out. Basketball, as many tournaments that we've been to since I've been alive, it's been cool. But I think the coolest thing was to see my brother actually step on the floor for the first time wearing a Raging Cajun shirt. Because whenever I was little, I was a ball boy. I always wanted to play basketball for the Cajuns. I didn't have the talent, but my brother does, and he made the best of his thing. And the first time that I saw him step on the court at the Cajun Dome, everything kind of came full circle for me. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
That is pretty freaking cool, I gotta say. I'm thinking about football. I mean, man. Outside, I mean, you want to go with the obvious ones, right? So you want to go with the kick in the Superdome with Brett Baer. But and then you want to go, that Texas A&M game. Honestly, one that's really stands out to me was us beating Kansas State at home on that, long field goal. I know it sounds stupid, but that was like, to me, I was like, oh, we here, baby, and we weren't, but it was like we could never get over the hump, beating a P4, P5, whatever they were called at the time team, and that just felt. It was like, all right, we're here. We can beat these teams because we had played Oklahoma State. I think it was during the Baldwin years. Hate to go back to that. It might have been after he left. I don't know. But we played them at home. Can you imagine? We scheduled Oklahoma State to come play us in the swamp.
That was the next year.
It was
we played them. Yeah. So, but you're right. We did play them in his first year. No, I'm sorry. We played him in his first year on the road. Then his second year, we played Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, I think, at home.
And I think Brandon Whedon was the Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that was the year. That was the year that they had Justin Blackman. We were winning at halftime, and that was the year after Kansas State. We were winning at halftime, and then they came back and obliterated us.
And just absolutely. But man, at halftime, dude,
it was crazy.
I remember Dan McDonald walking in the press box. He was like, everybody was just like, well, holy shit, look at what we're about to do. And of course, reality set in. But no, that was fun. We do have another caller calling in. Not the one you expected, but this is somebody we all know his voice. Jerry, what is going on?
Hey guys, greetings from Florida. I'll be back tomorrow. I just wanted to come say hey. I was watching. We're at the condo right now watching the draft, and it's kind of a mad pick for me. But we need some offensive linemen, right? I mean, I think that's. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral about that pick. What about you guys?
If Roast Beef Ron was good with it, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I mean, we have a very young offensive lineman. Our offensive line. If you look at the ages of our offensive line, I think the oldest guy on our line is like 27. So we do have a young line, but that's something we can work with. And maybe it's a long-term investment. I don't know. I know there were rumors of the Saints maybe trying to trade up and maybe go for a quarterback, but I doubt it, man. I don't know.
Caswell is obviously not watching, because if he was, he'd call you out for taking his stats that he just threw in the group chat about the ages of the O-line. But I'm not going to call you out on that, but just mention, he would. So anyway.
Hold on. I didn't even see that.
Whatever. Move on.
Wait, hold on. Oh God, he did text that. Okay, I was actually reading something on Twitter about it. But okay. But that was a good call on Caswell too. Y'all were talking about memories of, like, what was it? Best memory as a Cajuns fan growing up?
Yep.
I'd have to say for me it's a tie. The night we beat A&M. In 96, I was 7 years old, and Damon Mason picked it off like right in front of me on the sideline. That was pretty cool. And then I have to say the first New Orleans Bowl win, because I graduated earlier that day from UL, and then I got a field pass. And actually, Nick, you mentioned how you can hear your voice on ESPN. For that game, I actually went and ran behind the goalpost when Brett kicked the field goal. And if you look at any of the highlights of the field goal, you can see me jump up and down and running out on the field with Gunnar Hudspeth as I'm holding the phone and filming it. So that was really a cool night. And I really don't remember the rest of that night because we were in the French Quarter. And, contrary to popular belief, I did drink, considering the fact that we had won our first bowl game. And we won our first bowl game in, 70 years. And then I graduated that day. So let's just say it was the happiest hangover I've ever had. But those two were great memories. Basketball-wise, were you guys old enough not old enough, but did y'all remember when we beat Oklahoma in 92? Or what was it, 94 maybe, when we won our...
I think it was 94.
What was that?
Yeah, so 92, that I was, I guess I was 9 years old. So I do remember, but so this was before we had True TV, TNT, CBS, and all the other stations carrying the game. So we actually had to watch. I remember this. We were in school for this game. We had to watch the first half, and then something happened where they brought the TV in, and they had to show another game on CBS because all the games that were broadcast were all on CBS. So they had to cut into the game and show somebody else. It could have been somebody from I think we were in Albuquerque, so we might have been on the West Coast or the West bracket. So if somebody was playing on the East side or the South or whatever they called it back in the day, they would always interrupt the broadcast. That's something that I distinctly remember, and I remember us going up by like 4 and being like, "What the like? Why are they changing the game?" So that was either a Friday or a Thursday game, and then the Saturday Sunday game, New Mexico State had beat the 4 seed, so or the 5 seed because they were a 12, so it was a 12-13 game, and I was at freaking Neyland Park at a baseball game, and I had to listen on the damn radio. I remember being so sad whenever we went down by like 6. So it was a good memory that we actually won in the tournament, which was the last time we did. But it's crazy how far like memories go because back in the day you couldn't get anything unless it was radio or local. Now it's so widespread.
Yeah, I remember doing that. So in 2005, I go into a Jesuit baseball game at Zephyr Field, and we had already gotten tickets, so we went. And that was the night we played Louisville. I remember, like you said, Ryan, even in 2005, you didn't have ESPN Plus, you didn't have streaming on your phone, let alone have a phone that even streamed games. Back then, there were all the flip phones and all the old school phones. But I remember Dad and I were on the phone talking to each other. We were talking to each other on the phone as I'm watching the baseball game, and he was giving me updates. And so even as early as 2005, we had that issue. But man, I heard a little bit of your segment earlier about Coach Q and
Hey,
the team that he built.
Jerry, before you get into that, I wanna send Nick something so he could show this. I don't know how he does it, but
Oh God.
you're talking about no, it's nothing like that. It's
Oh.
about no, it goes back to the Louisville game and being on TV and you know, kind of coming full circle with my little brother. Me and my dad and my sister, brother-in-law, we all went up to Nashville because that's where my family lives, and I think we had went up like 55-54. Tyrus Wade had just bullied somebody in the lane, hit a floater. We went up by 1. Everybody's going crazy in the student or the Cajun section. Everybody else is just Louisville fans, right? So there's like 19,000 people, and 500 maybe are Cajuns, and the other 500 are George Washington fans across that are pulling for us. So we come back from timeout, and they're zooming in on us because we're actually winning the game. And all of a sudden, you see my dad, and he is holding up my little brother, who is on the damn basketball team now, and me as a little 22-year-old punk, and we're going crazy in the stands because we're actually winning. So yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jerry, but I'm sending this to Lane. I'm gonna try to find it, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah, you guys know how I am when it comes to basketball, but I can't tell you how optimistic I've become with this roster that Coach Q has built. I mean, how many 4-stars do we have now? What, 3 or 4 guys? You've got a point guard that was at an SEC school. I mean, we've been needing a point guard. He goes and gets one from an SEC school, regardless if it's Vanderbilt or not. It's SEC. I got to tell y'all, man, like I'm going all in on this, but this is easily, in my opinion, and I don't know what the rest of the conference is doing. This has to be a top 3 roster in the Sun Belt right now. Has to be. I highly doubt there's other teams right now, whether it's JMU or anybody else, that has a roster that has the talent on paper that we have right now. This team will. If this team stays healthy, they're going to be competitive this year. I have to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about putting everything together. I think that the thing that's good about us this year is that everybody is coming in. and everybody else for every other team is going out. I haven't really seen a lot of people making splashes like we have. So, we could take that and kind of go forward with it. We just got to put it together.
How's how's Christian doing with everything? I know with the adjustments and everything with the new
Yeah,
coaching staff, new
he
roster.
he loves everybody. I'm not going to talk too much about that. He loves everybody, and he's excited. That's all really I'm going to say about that.
No. What I'll say is he needs to he'd be a good presence in the locker room. He's going to have kind of the seniority now because he's been around a little bit longer. But I think it's a good blend with a good culture and a good mix of players that are hungry to win. And I think Christian's included in that. So I hope everything works out in that regard. But I'm so fired up. Like I'm even in Florida, I'm here, and I was looking at the guys we're bringing in. I'm just like, holy crap, this is very impressive in such a short amount of time. By the way, did you guys make it out? Nick, I know you're in Houston, but Lane, Ryan, did you guys do okay this morning with the rain? I heard Lafayette flooded.
Yeah, it flooded pretty good. Not by me anywhere, but downtown got flooded pretty bad from what I saw.
Yeah, it seemed like downtown and kind of Youngsville were really the main culprits. But that it seems like Youngsville, for the past probably, I don't know, almost 10 years now since it's been building up, they kind of get the brunt of everything.
Yeah, it just flows down south. So
Yeah.
That poor area. By the way, Nick, before I go, man, your hospitality was fantastic last week for the crawfish boil and Scott. Dude, the legend of Miss Thelma lives. I got to tell you, she is, man, your mom is a rock star.
Hey,
Your mom is
I
a
told
rock
you,
star.
bro.
Jerry, you know how many videos I got that night? And I you're laughing right now, Jerry. The only thing better than being on the beach in Destin, Florida, would have been at Miss Thelma's house. Apparently,
there you go. Yeah, and
Hey,
in my
dude.
Tesla, me and Doug, doing launch mode on the Tesla.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself on that.
Man, I don't know what's funnier, the fact that you and Doug were drag racing in Cajun Fields parking lot, or if you and Doug straight up went downtown together and hit the scene. I don't know which one's better, because what's funny about that is after
Miami
I
Moon,
left.
to be fair, it was Miami Moon. It wasn't downtown, but whatever. We're good.
Look, what's the funniest part about it was the fact that, I'm going home, and I was like, oh, Lane's probably going to go home. And then next thing you know, 2 hours later, there's a picture of Doug sitting on your mom and dad's fireplace. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Where did this come from?
Hey, I got him his costume,
Where did
though.
this come
I
from?
got him his costume, so we're good. He should be wearing that at the Teague this week.
Yeah, oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's very good. And I saw, I'm going to try to be back for that game, especially hopefully Saturday when they honor the 2000 Omaha team. That's going to be a great moment. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to say hello. Like I said, I'll be back in Louisiana tomorrow. And now I'm curious to see what the Saints do in the rest of this draft. I want to wish our boy Kenny the kicker. Hopefully he gets a good high stock in the draft. The higher the better, the more money he'll make. So best of luck to our man Kenny the kicker, and any other UL prospects that has a shot. How many UL players y'all think has a shot in this draft? I know Kenny's that's almost a given, but who else y'all think's got a shot?
Who was the player you mentioned earlier, RC?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now. I think you have a couple of guys that could probably make it late round, but I can't remember his name.
Keon Martin.
Thank you. Good God. And then Trey. No, I didn't. And then Trey Amos, former player, is going to be up there. I think I'll be surprised if he makes it past the third round.
I think
he's probably going top 40. Yeah, like Lane. Yeah, Lane. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the first round, but I think he's projected top 40. I would love it if he came to the Saints. We need another lockdown corner, and who better? Hometown boy.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd take him. No, I'd take him. I mean, look, and the thing about him is, look, he's as much as I hated losing him, I think moving to an Alabama, then going to an Ole Miss. I mean, look, you play the best of the best in that league. I mean, he's ready. I think he's ready. So I would gladly take him. Especially, we got a lot of youth in the secondary as well, and none of them can stay healthy. You know, I think didn't we trade away Paulson and Debo this year? I mean, we need some young talent, especially at corner. So I'd love for Trey to be in the black and gold, but we'll see, guys. But anyway, just want to say hi, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Y'all have a good night.
All right, Jerry. Safe travels coming back home.
Bring me back some sand, Jerry.
Yeah, some sand. Here's the. I want to go ahead and before we go, do want to share this. Give me a second. If I could pull it up, there we go. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. Oh, now you got it. Now you got. Hold on, we're gonna have to find a way to flip this over. Come on, man. How you gonna send me that? Really? How do you flip it? I don't know how to flip it on here. Well, that's a good. I mean, you can kind of. So where's your dad's holding the sign, right? And then where's Christian? Hold on, you're on mute, RC.
Okay. So Christian, keep going a little bit.
We're all doing like this right now.
I gotta go. Okay, right there. So the baby, that's Christian.
Oh wow.
And then I'm right on the side. That's my dad pointing up, and then I'm on the right there with the mouth wide open with the arms. Yeah, what an idiot.
That was that big dummy. Well, sorry you couldn't record this right. And look at that. I mean, it looked great right there. And then we're gonna go to that. La Laugh. I'm glad we got the things figured out there because La Laugh wasn't great, but you know, is what it is. I'm sure some of the TSAT fans will love that. All right, boys, before we go, Lane, I do want to ask you one more thing because you asked us a question. Your favorite memory as a Cajuns fan?
So I started out as a Cajun fan in 2011 when I moved down here. But obviously the first New Orleans Bowl was a memory that stuck in my head. But also the game, I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but I know Ladarius Green was on the team when he returned the kick or got the fumble on the kickoff and returned it.
That was ULM, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was 2011.
Because they were beating our ass. ULM was beating us, and then all of a sudden Ladarius was like, "All right, I got this."
Yeah, that was HUD's first year. That was a whiteout game.
Yeah, that game stuck in my mind. And then just the whole 2014 baseball season. I mean, at one point we were ranked number 1, and we felt like nobody could stop us. And then having I believe there was the super regional there. And we were basically a few hits away from winning that. So that would have been cool to see.
Freaking
in Omaha.
Orvis, dude. I hate that dude to this day.
But yeah, those two are probably the two that stick out.
I argued that we weren't a couple of hits away. I think we were a couple of pitchers away. I think we just, our bullpen was just, we got to the point where we just couldn't keep up, you know. But
and then the series the next year, 2015, I guess, against Arizona, we should have had we had that, or 16, yeah. We had that in the back of our pockets and let it go.
Yeah. That was a disappointing one too, man. But that's when we met Jay Johnson, and I was so pissed at him because he pitched that guy 187 pitches in like 2 days or something like that, and we were so mad. I was like, "How is this guy?" And the guy never pitched again, so that made me not like Jay Johnson. But then we interviewed him, and I guess we're cool now. So we'll leave it at that, even though they just got run ruled by Northwestern. But we're not going to talk about that. You want to talk about meltdowns? Whew, they're ready to fire Jay Johnson. They're comparing him to Ed Orgeron.
Dude,
today.
let me tell you, one of my best friends in the whole wide world is an Alabama fan, right? And he just so happens to live in Destin, Florida. And it doesn't matter what sport it is. It could be baseball, football, basketball, track, women's, it don't matter. Gymnastics. If something goes wrong in the LSU sports world, he sends me the Forrest Gump running gift, and the caption is headed to Tiger droppings now.
Oh my! Well, him and Jerry.
Him and Jerry. The difference is that that my buddy has never posted on there, but another certain someone got about damn near 8,000 posts on
Yeah.
there. So
Pretty impressive. He outed himself. Oh man. We're not gonna get into that. Boys, it has been a lot of fun. I have been all over the place. I'm telling you. We just kind of put this together at the last minute, but appreciate you joining us. As always, want to thank our awesome sponsors, Wardmaster, Dr. Brett Venable, Lafayette Roofing, Eat Lafayette, and Ragin Hydration. We might need a little bit of Ragin Hydration IV tomorrow morning, but they make these things possible. Also, if you have a chance, visit the website, raginreview.com. We have a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm trying to tweak some things. I know some of y'all didn't like the gray font, so I changed it to white to make it a little more readable. But we're working on some kinks. We're working the kinks out there, and please continue to give us your feedback there because we appreciate it, and we're here for you. So we want to make sure we do the best job possible. Like, subscribe, tell your mama and them. My mama's watching; she should too. For my boy RC, for Lane, I am Nicholas. Hope that you have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll see you this weekend after the Georgia Southern series for a post game. And as always, go Cajuns.
Take my hand, say the truth, say those simple words. Oh, I love only you.